record on this computer. All right.
This meeting is being recorded.
Sorry about that. All right. Financial statement analysis. Which one was it? Oh, did you want to do this whole thing or?
Number 1 and number 3. Well, maybe if you do number 1, it might solve number 3. I don't remember. They're quite similar, but not exactly the same.
Well, then let's look at it. I try not to look at the numbers when we're doing this, so let me just move this around a little bit. Okay, so identify the total amount of cash and cash equivalents for fiscal years ended 2018 and 2017. Okay.
Yep.
So that comes
Use
from
the
the
financial-
appendix. Kind of confused by the answers to that question, to those questions.
Okay, so that one's actually pretty simple. We're looking at what did I just do? There we go. Okay.
That one.
Identify the total amount of cash and cash equivalents for fiscal years ended 2018 and 2017, right? So this first part, you're going to, is this Apple's? Apple's financial statements. So Apple's financial statements, you're going to look at the balance sheet, and then you're going to go to cash and cash equivalents, and you're going to pick off these two numbers, right? 2017, 2018, they should be the same. Let's see if we can.
So that's in the very first page. Okay.
Let me just see if I can hold this over here. There we go. And we want to make this a little bit smaller, maybe if we can. No, it doesn't matter. Okay. And then we got this here. Okay, so that's the 25,9, right? 25,913 and 2289. No problem. The second one, compute cash and cash equivalents as a percent of total assets, total current liabilities, and total shareholders equity, and total, what else? And total assets. Okay.
I think that's the one I got more confused.
All right, so let's create a new file here. Okay, so I'll make this a little smaller. Let's get rid of this.
If you go to the requirements, it shows you the numbers. The required 2.
Yeah, I'm just going to calculate it for you though. So so we got
okay.
cash and cash equivalents, right? And that's let's insert here. We want 2018 and 2017. Okay, so we know we have 25913 and 20289 as our numbers as a percent of, right? So then we have what they want total, let's see, current assets. They want current liabilities. They want shareholder, I'm guessing this is equity. Yep. And they have total assets. I'm just going to do these totals, I think. Okay, so then I have to go find these numbers, right? And let me insert a little column here because I'm going to need it a little bit later. Actually, delete this one. Okay. All right, so we're going to put values in here. Let's see if we can go find them. I wonder if I can make this a little bit smaller. I really want to get rid of that part too, but
I think the values are on the, if you go to the required to do.
Yeah.
yeah, I just want to show how you find it on the actual statement. Otherwise, you may not.
Okay.
Right, I can go to the thing and get it, but I don't. That doesn't help you, I don't think. So let me stick with this, and I'll just make this a little bigger so I can find it on one page. That's a little closer. Okay, total assets, right? So on your balance sheet, you're gonna have your current assets, total current assets right here. Do they look for that? Yep, that's what they want. So they want this number, 131,339, and they want their total assets number. That's right here, 365,725. And they want the current liabilities, which is right here, 116,866, and shareholder equity, total shareholders equity right there, 107, 147, right?
Mhm.
We can do that for this over here as well. Shouldn't be too hard to pick off. Current assets, 128,645. I know that's this number right here. Total assets is this number. 375. Wrong. 375, 319. Shareholder equity. Well, let's do liabilities first. Liabilities is going to be this total, 1,814, right? And then total shareholder equity, 140, 458. Now I got all the numbers theoretically.
Divide.
This is a percent of these, right? So I just take that number, easy way in Excel to copy and paste these is to fix this number, divide it by that. So you can do this a couple of ways. I can select this and I can put little dollar signs in front of it. That fixes where it's at and divide it by this number. And it's a floating number because it just has no dollar signs in front of it. And then I can just
Right.
drag this down. Those are all my percentages, right? And I can convert them to percentages, 1 decimal point, and voila. And then I can actually take that, same thing. I could copy and paste, but that wouldn't really help very much right now.
Mhm.
So I got that. Same thing, copy and paste, percents. So now I should be good to go. Let's go check, see how I did. On required 2, right?
Yeah.
Required 2. There you go. So I got all the numbers. They may have already been there, but I did the calculation. 19.7, 22, 22.2, 24.2, 7.1, 15.8, 21, 1.
Okay.
Where did I screwed up there? 140,458. 14.4. Where did I get that wrong? Total shareholder equity. I must have gotten that wrong. 107. Oh, I didn't go down far enough. Sorry, my bad. That's what happens when you do this too fast. So it should be 134,047. Okay, so that's where I got it from the income statement, balance sheet, excuse me. And so now it's 15.1. All's good. Okay, required 3. What's the question? To compute the percentage change between
That's
the
the one I
beginning
had.
and ending year, right? Cash and cash equivalents for fiscal years. What's the percent change? Okay. Percent change.
Yeah.
It's like
Okay,
you take
so
in a second.
if you take this, right? If you take the current number divided by the old number, you're going to get the change for the current year, right? But it's expressed as a 1 plus, right? Because you're starting with an old number. So what you usually have to do, if you wanted to do this right, you can do you take that number and you minus 1. So you get 27.7%. Now you can see it as 127%, right? So if I take the minus 1 out, you'll see it as 127.7%, right? But that's because it's your base number is the old number, right? Base, your denominator is E21. You have to eliminate that. Well, this is the quick way of doing it. So it's 127.7%. Now there's another way of looking at this. If I take out the 1, right? There's another way of looking at this is saying, what's the variance, right?
Mhm.
So the variance is that minus this, right? So that's the pure variance increase from prior year. So you could just say take equals that number, the variance only divided by the original number, and that'll give you the same number, right?
Nice.
So either way, I get to the same number, but I prefer this one because you don't have to actually calculate a variance. You just calculate a difference, a variance percentage-wise, and you subtract the 1. So either way works for me, or for the solution. Now the question is, how did you get to this one right here, right? Statement of cash flows. So you have to actually go. I was using these numbers from the balance sheet, right? And you don't really see what the beginning balance was for 2017. So you would have to then go to the statement of cash flows. Statement of cash flows, no, statement of operation. Okay, this is income statement. Shareholders' equity. Consolidated statements of cash flows. Okay, there we go. Now let me make this one bigger. Okay, so the statement of cash flows is going to start out with the beginning number and then work through all the changes and get you to an ending number. These ending numbers are the same that we saw before, right? But in order to know what the 2017 number is, you have to go to the beginning value. And this is your 24,484, or you could look at the ending number of 2016. It should be the same, 24,484, right? So 2484 is my number. So the easiest way to do this is to then say, okay, well, 2016, 2484 is my number. And if I use these same calculations and just move them over, I should get, let's see, copy this one over. I should get a negative 1%. And is that the answer? It says 1%. I'm not sure. Oh, decrease. Okay. Percent change is a 1% decrease. Are we following there, Magda?
Yeah.
Okay. Then on 4, it's asking what? Compute the days sales uncollected. Days sales uncollected. Oh, I have to remember this formula. You guys are going to make me remember something from like days yonder.
Oh, yeah.
Days sales uncollected. Okay. So we're going to look at days sales uncollected. Let's see if we can find it.
Don't forget.
Uncollected would be number of days sales uncollected. Effectively, you're going to be looking at accounts receivable because it hasn't been collected, right?
Account receivable and net sales, I think it is.
And that's, yep. So on that one, we're going to go for, let's see, what's our receivables? Accounts receivable. Accounts receivable. And I'm going to need net sales, right?
Yep.
So for this one, let's see if we can find it there. Net receivable. Okay. So that's going to be 23,186. And this one's 17,874. Okay, that's the starting point. Now let's go over to our income statement, net sales. Let's take this up a little bit. Net sales is 265,595 and 229,234. Now let's do the magic. So the turnover, or days sales not collected. This is really strange elected nomenclature, but usually it's called day sales outstanding or something like that. But I'll just go with it. Let's think through the logic first. What it's trying to do is figure out how many days worth of sales are in accounts receivable, right? So if you break it up a little bit, there's a couple ways of doing this. This is my way of showing you the inside math. Okay, so really, if you take the net sales, right, equals the net sales and divide it by 365, you get a daily sales number, right? And then effectively, if you take that receivables number and divide it by the net sales number, you get a daily sales not collected. Number of days worth of sales that have not been collected, right? If I make this to a number, something like that, we should be able to then replicate the real formula here in just a second. Okay, so this is the Brian Lewis formula for breaking it down and understanding it theoretically instead of just looking at the formula. The formula, though, I think, if I remember right, the formula is something like, what would it be? I think it's total net sales divided by, it should be average receivables.
It says
Averages.
accounts receivable over net sales times 365.
Yeah, sorry, Magda, you're kind of breaking up, but I think I understand what we're going to take. Net sales, we're going to take accounts receivable divided by net sales, and it should be average net sales, right? Average receivables, isn't it?
No,
I think this is the average.
Receivable.
Let me plus this divided by 2. Is it not that? Average divided by? No, it's not. Forget it. I'm making things confusing. So average accounts receivable divided by net sales times 365. I get the same number? I got the same number. That is not amazing. Okay. So that, if I compare it to the actual test and the quiz values, let's see if my values work out. They did. 31 and 28.5. Okay. So if you understand the logic a little bit, how many days worth of net sales are in your accounts receivable, then you can do it a couple different ways if you forgot the formula like me. I didn't remember the formula, right? But I did remember the logic. And so the logic being, one way of doing it is just divide your net sales by 365. That gets you a daily sales number. And then take that daily sales number and divide it into your accounts receivable, and that gives you, this one. Or if you remember the formula, great. Receivables divided by sales times 365, right?
Okay.
Okay, and then the last one, Apple's collection of receivables shows a favorable or unfavorable change. Okay, well, day sales, this would be more than last time. So it's taking me more days to collect my sales, my cash effectively, than prior years. So that would be unfavorable. It was the other way around, right? If it's gotten better, the number of days has gotten shorter, then that's favorable from the prior period.
Right.
Okay. Was that helpful?
Yeah, very. Thank you. I remember if number 3 was about the same or not, if you can go over really quick.
Okay, number 3 is going to be, let's see, compute cash and cash equivalents as a percent of total. Okay, that's going to be very similar. So they already gave you the numbers, and so you're doing cash and cash equivalents, this number divided by these, right? So that one we've already gone over.
Mm-hmm.
The change percent between the current year and prior year cash balances. We did that, right? So you cash balance one year over the other. Let's just go ahead and do it for the grins. So we have, so we have the 33, no, excuse me, 33, 40, 505, and 30, 545, 130, right? So the variance
Mhm.
is a decrease. And it's as a percentage, we take that divided by this, and we get effectively, we put that in the percentage. That's the wrong one. Put that the percentage, and it's roughly a negative 1% or negative 0.7% decrease. Yep. Okay. 3 days sales uncollected. Same stuff.
The same.
AR 36, 948, 466. Oops. And 31, 804, 956. This is your AR. We'll call this sales. Sales, where's net sales? 243, 771, 415. And 239, 575, 376. I'm going to do it both ways just to make sure that you can actually see what I'm doing. All right, take that number, bring it over here. Let's just make these easy to read. Okay, daily sales. And then let's just do, what is it? Days, and we call this DSO usually. I'm just going to truncate it. So that divided by this gives me 55. And the longhand AR divided by sales times 365.
Yep, that's
Same
what I
number.
did. Okay.
Okay. Either way. So 55, let's make these to one decimal point, 55.3 and 48.5. And the last one, required 4, does Samsung's collection of receivables show a favorable or unfavorable change? What would you say?
I can't see the number.
Oh, sorry. Is it favorable or unfavorable? So the first question is it bigger or smaller?
Yeah, it's just that like the video is behind what you're saying. Like the video doesn't show what it is.
Sorry, Magda, you're breaking up on me, but that's okay. So your DSO, your days sales outstanding, is greater this year than last year. So that means it's unfavorable. It's worse.
Unfavorable. Mm-hmm.
It's worse. If it were lower, if these numbers were flipped, then it would be better. But a higher number is not a good thing. It's a bad
It's
thing.
not good.
Okay, so that was number 3. So yeah, questions 1 and 3 are basically the same. Just you have the numbers given to you in this version, where the other one you had to go hunt and find it in some cases. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Any other questions?
Can you tell me about, week 7 quiz number 4? Is there any way I can figure it out, like a little formula in order to answer those questions?
Week 7, which one? Sorry.
Week 7 quiz.